I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media, and today on the Crypto Coin Show we have Sander Dijkens, the founder and CTO of DreamFuel Games, working on Infinity Skies. Sander, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, pleasure being here.
Likewise, I'm excited to hear all about the game and the metaverse and the NFTs and the gameplay. I'd love for you to just kick off our conversation by just a little bit in your words on what is Infinity Skies and the vision behind it.
Yeah, Infinity Skies is a blockchain-based game on Polygon where players build their own castle on an island floating in the sky. It's very similar in terms of the building to games like The Sims, except in Infinity Skies, everything you build with is an NFT. So the floors that you place down, the walls that you place down, the piece of furniture, these are all NFTs, and as such can be traded with other players on the marketplace.
Very cool. And everyone does love Sims, but flying castles in the sky sounds like you're taking it to the next level. So
for sure.
And I've seen sort of the gameplay and the graphics, and it looks really cool. With metaverses having this open world and collaboration, I feel like the possibilities are sort of limitless. Besides building your castle, maybe you can talk about sort of the gameplay and the scope of what's all possible within Infinity Skies.
Yeah, in Infinity Skies, it's also possible to visit other people's castles and really get into the socializing aspect. So that's also where it kind of differs from The Sims. Sims is a single-player game. However, Infinity Skies is really a social MMO game. So this means you can visit other people, make friends, join guilds together. And ultimately, the goal of the game is to compete in this castle building competition that is game-wide every month and end up in the top spots by achieving the most amount of votes on your castle from visitors. And this makes you eligible for the most lucrative rewards.
Very cool. And, building a game, especially a metaverse, is a lot of work. How long has your team been working on this so far?
At this point, we've almost been working on the game for almost 2 years. So we're right now slightly past 1.5.
Very cool. And you mentioned building the castles, like having every little piece as an NFT. I find that super fascinating. How do you balance the integration and the focus on the blockchain and NFT aspect with the gameplay and everything that comes with a traditional game as well?
Yeah, from the start, we wanted to make this game first of all free to play, meaning you can just hop in without having to go through any kind of paywall and start playing the game as intended. And during this process, you'll be able to earn as well. And now, from the beginning of the design, we also saw that some games that do this run into issues where things become inflationary. So we tried to tackle this as well. What we came up with is essentially that our token is not an inflationary token where it can be earned in-game massively by a lot of players. Our NFTs, however, can be earned in-game. So you might think, well, those are inflationary then. But then we thought of another solution for that as well. And that is essentially seasons. So every 6 months approximately, there's going to be a new season, meaning the entire old collection of NFTs becomes legacy, still usable in-game, but no longer obtainable in-game. So essentially, there can't be new ones of those minted. Only they can be bought on the marketplace from other players or even destroyed in crafting systems, making them even more rare.
I really like that aspect. That was one of the things I liked when I played MMOs. And there was like annual rare items that like the people who played in the first season, those items only get ever increasingly rare. as less of them are around, and people who had them on their accounts quit playing or they get destroyed, and there's barely any. So I like that. Now I was looking at the world map, which looks super cool, and with metaverses they can just sort of be ever expandable. How big is currently the world map, and how big do you plan on growing the game?
At the moment, the world map it has an infinite sky size. It's called Infinity Skies for a reason. But we have a center of this whole world map, and this center is where the valuable plots of land find themselves. Mm-hmm. And this is divided up into 4 rings of the 4 top rarities. So the most inner ring is the rarest one with the fewest amount of plots, and most likely the most amount of visitors, because they will be more easily able to find your castle and visit it. Mm-hmm. So that one is that inner ring is the astral ring. And I believe there's 250 plots in that one. And then outside of that, you have the divine rarity ring, the legendary rarity ring, and the epic rarity ring. Mm-hmm. And all of these rings together, they contain a total of 50,000 and 6,000 something plots of land that players can own, and even multiples of in the game, and earn votes off from other players.
Very cool. Thanks for explaining that. And from what I understand, the land plots are called Skyblocks, and I'd love to know. It sounds like there's still some available if there's 50,000 plots and beyond those rings. But with the rare ones, and for people that are early on, are those all sold out, or is there an ongoing sale of the Skyblocks? And how does that work to purchase land in the game?
Yeah, at the moment nothing is sold yet, and we are actually this month working on getting the sale of that out there. So definitely, if you want to join into that, I would say join us in our social channels, and definitely stay tuned for opportunities to get into that sale. But yeah, that's gonna kick off this month, and then continue on for a while.
Very cool. That's great to hear that there's still time available for that. And I was looking on the site that you're able to play the game. Obviously, it's an ever-expanding game, but at to what capacity are people able to play right now? Are they able to go in there but not purchase land, or how far along is the gameplay for the players in the public?
Yeah, so in this end, we have a very big update coming out on the 27th. I can actually now, for the first time, say it will be announced shortly anyways. But the 27th will have a new version of our demo live. Currently, we have a version from, I believe, back in February live. So there's quite a massive difference in terms of what you can do in that new update. And that will be on the 27th. So definitely, once that goes live, jump on it and play around with it. There's a lot of new things you can do, such as multiple floors are now possible, stairways, fences, there's clouds, there's I believe at least 100 more objects that you can play around with. There's multiplayer actually also in that version, which wasn't in the previous one. So a lot of new things have been added in that big update. Currently, the state of the assets in the game is that you have everything unlocked, and that will remain the same in this new demo. So you can build around unlimited with everything unlocked in your inventory. However, of course, once the game goes live, this changes, and you only will have the NFTs that you actually have in your wallet also in your in-game inventory. Yeah. Lastly, however, there is one pretty cool thing about this new demo update, and that's that you are able to see the plots of land that you buy from the land sale already on the world map in-game as you being the owner of that specific plot that you bought So those are not placeholder in terms of ownership.
Very cool. That's great to hear. And for people that, a lot of people want to play games and try it out. Can you play without making an initial investment in a plot of land, or are the barriers to entry low and it's pretty cheap to get a plot of land that's in a faraway land, or what are the entry costs to start playing?
Yeah, like I said, we wanted to keep this game completely free to play. So it's also possible to not own land and still play the game. In this case, you'll be placed outside of all of these rings in what we call deep sky, which is essentially what makes the sky infinite, because we can just keep on adding new plots of land to that infinite border. But you can imagine that the more of those come into existence, the harder it becomes for yours to be found by other visitors. So you have to be creative in that case, find other ways to market your castle to the rest of the community, use external channels, use the global chat, use guilds in-game, or perhaps even you burn some feast NFTs to promote your castle on the roadmap.
Okay, great to know. That's always great when people are able to just join and play and not have to invest in NFTs as well. But it does sound very exciting about the SkyBlock land sale. I'm going to make sure there's a link to that in the description box below as well. Now, I was also looking into like the players and the heroes of the game, and not just the castles. I saw that you can become a queen or a king, and there's royalty status. Can you tell me more about the players that you're playing in the game?
Yeah, definitely. So you have your avatar in Infinity Skies, and it's completely customizable as well with NFTs. So in season 1, you can imagine that you have a nice jacket for your avatar, and that's an NFT. And then you combine it with a different pants, and that's also an NFT. And you combine that with your face NFT, and you really customize it into your own character that way. Then there's titles as well that you can customize your character with. So like you already mentioned, there's the title of King and Queen. Right now in the demo, that's the only title being displayed. So for right now, everyone is a king or queen. But that will change at the game launch. And this is actually tied into our ranking system as well, where as you level up, you unlock new titles. But the king and queen title are very exclusive. And these are only for top 3 winners of these competitions each month. So once you have won one of these competitions and ended up in the top 3, you have the bragging right to show off this title to everyone else.
Very cool. Great to know. And with everything being an NFT, I'm curious around the economics and the market of acquiring NFTs or buying and selling them. As a player working in the game, are you able to do things that allow you to earn NFTs, or do you have to buy them all? And is there an Infinity Skies marketplace exclusively for that, or are they available on general NFT marketplaces? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's definitely possible to go to the marketplace and buy NFTs there. In that case, you will always be buying from other players, and you can also go there to sell your own NFTs. So how do these other players get these NFTs? That's all through gameplay. So I mentioned Feast earlier really shortly. So if someone has a Feast active and is kind of promoting its own castle to the rest of the community in order to get visitors for votes, you can go there, and you're actually incentivized to go there because once you go there and complete some of the Feast challenges, which would take you probably approximate about 10 minutes, then you are rewarded with essentially a mystery crystal that will contain a NFT of a random rarity and a random type. So that's one way of earning NFTs, is through this social feasting mechanic. Then there's also the possibility to go into the mining tab on our website, which is essentially a staking functionality where you, if you hold ISKY tokens, you can put them in those mines, lock them away for a certain time period, and you're awarded with quicksilver fragments. And these fragments, if you have 1,000 of them, you can turn them into one of these mystery crystals as well that yields you NFTs. So that's another way. Then there's the leaderboard that I was talking about as well. So ending up high on that leaderboard will give you unique NFTs that were specifically made for that month only and only available in that month only. So these are right away the next month are instantaneously legacy NFTs that you won't ever be able to obtain again. And there's different rarities being handed out to different spots on the leaderboard, and top 2,500 players are eligible for these rewards of various rarities. And then lastly, in 2023, we'll also have our exciting adventure mode coming out, which is more of a hack and slash experience. Beating that, you will also be rewarded with these mystery crystals.
Very fun. That sounds exciting. And thank you for explaining that all. That really helps paint a picture for the NFTs. And one thing I took note there is that you mentioned about sort of like the staking mechanism of ISKY tokens and mining, which is cool. And I'm curious on if there's anything else you didn't touch on in terms of the native token ISKY. Is that required to purchase the land, or it's used as you're building your castle, and how does it sort of create a sustainable economy for everyone that's in the game?
Yeah, so the economy really is driven on the NFTs. So the loop is there, you grind for them in the game, and you are able to use them by building, or you are able to sell them on the marketplace. And where the token comes in is essentially it's the go-to medium for transferring these NFTs back and forth on our marketplace. It's actually on the marketplace the exclusive token there. And it will also have other use cases, such as bidding on plots of land within the land tab on the website, which is a beautiful map as well. So there you can place bids in ISKY exclusively once again. And then there's some smaller use cases, such as crafting mechanisms requiring a small fee of ISKY to use those crafting mechanisms, for example.
Very cool. So much in these games, it's a multi-year project, but it does sound very exciting what you and your team are building. And I guess that part of the first step is the launch that's just happening now on the 27th, as you mentioned, about the Skyblocks land plots. For the viewers that want to learn more about the gameplay and owning land and NFTs, what's the best way to find out more about that and make sure that they don't miss the Skyblock land plot?
The best thing you can do is join our Discord, follow us on Twitter, and maybe even subscribe to our newsletter. That way you'll be able to make sure that you won't miss any notification about this sale going live and this demo going live.
Sounds great, Sander. I will leave those links in the description box below as well to make it easy for the viewers. Thank you so much for explaining everything in Infinity Skies. I'm going to go check out the playable part again right now, and I will follow along and put out a release about the Skyblocks land plots as well, because I'm interested in learning more about that. So thank you for taking the time, and all the best in the near future.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here.